Hello tubers, here we have the i2000 sponsored turbine, 48 volt. Got some wind in our favor today, real good wind. Had to lock the i2000 out. We were at full charge in there, still running the heat pump, and we had to lock her down because we were at full charge. So here we go with the i2000 sponsored turbine. In here we have all the guts. This is the charge controller. It is a Midnight Classic 250. It's a car puff unit. The difference between car puff and non-car puff is this does not have the auxiliary 1-2 port. It does not have the speaker on it, and it does not have follow me. It is, however, usable for micro hydro, wind turbines, and solar, provided you make your own dump load, as I've done here. This piece is the TriStar 60. It's PWM, pulse width modulation, 60 amp dump load. This is the 3-phase bridge rectifier. It's all fused, and there's the stop switch. Here's the dump load. I made this dump load out of just old ductwork, and I ordered the 300 watt resistors from Missouri Wind and Solar, and simply just built that out of some tin bus bars and some wire I had. Anyways, that's 2100 watts. 300 watts times 7 is 2100 watts. If it decides to dump and it reaches maximum voltage at the battery bank, it is set to dump at 54.8, and these charge controllers here, 3 kilowatts go into each one on the solar array for the main powerhouse. This is set to stop at 54.6. So 54.6, they stop the solar, and this stops at 54.8, and the TriStar grabs it, dumps it into the dump load if we hit that value. This is the freezer batteries. Heater here, heater here. We put a new BMS in, the other one shit the bed. And this is 32 200 amp hour cells. 2 of them are in parallel, 16 are in series with a brand new BMS, 48 volt, 250 amp. It's got a fan on it. We also have this programmable from the phone, so it'll balance and keep everything in line. We are presently sitting at somewhere around 52 volts, 52.3, and we'll go check out real live data as to the wind turbines production. Now last night we had a little bit of winds kick up, and the battery bank, I should have ran the heat pump, but it didn't, and then it would have lowered the value of it, but it doesn't matter, it would have dumped into the dump load anyways. I just simply hate wasting it, because last night it did not run the pellet stove. I ran the diesel heater. I got a little diesel heater here that draws no power. It runs off this blue eddy on the bottom, the AC 200p, through the 12 volt side. It won't run off the AC 180 12 volt, or the EB55, or the EB3A on the 12 volt side. They'll all run on the AC side if you get the AC converter. However, the AC 200p will run it in the 12 volt socket. The other one, the AC 180, runs this little fridge here, and the bottom one runs the diesel heater. Amazing little heater. Anyways, we did not run the pellet stove, so I was watching the tube. I didn't want to be interrupted. Let's bring up the Classic and see what we have. We are real-time data. As of yet, today, we have created here 1.1 kilowatt. And that's since 12 o'clock last night, and it's 10:09 in the morning. So in 10 hours, we made 1.1 kilowatt. We're presently sitting at 15 volts here. We made 1.1 kilowatt in 10 hours already. Nope, that's the man cave. Okay, so we got to switch over. I did lock that turbine out because we are full. So here's the house. Real-time data. 71 volts, 1.1 kilowatts were created, 114 watts presently coming in, 478. We're sitting at 52.3, and 9.1 amps, or 7.5 now, amps are coming in. So we can clearly see how this turbine is going to work with the Midnight Classic and with the TriStar 60 in dump load, should the need arise. As of yet, in 10 hours, we've got 1.1 kilowatts created, and the highest I've seen this go this morning was 1700 watts in a higher breeze of wind. We are sitting at somewhere around in the wind gauge 21 kilometers now, and every 18 seconds it updates. So this is the Ista Breeze i2000 running on the main Homestead powerhouse 48 volt turbine in real-time data. So we can go inside this and we can go to the data, we can go to offline, and it will give you that information on a 24-hour basis, meaning each one of these increments is just that one day. So last night the wind didn't start until around, I don't know, 8 o'clock. So in 4 hours we created 0.3 of a kilowatt, and our highest power output was 900 watts last night at 12 o'clock. And then today obviously is the new day, which it starts to count again, and it won't be up there for this day until tomorrow. But what is there is the live data we do see. 64 volts, 1.1 kilowatts created, 200 watts coming in, 52.1 volts at the battery bank, and 3.9 amps. Now we have this connected through a booster, a signal booster in the powerhouse that I didn't show. It was at the front entrance at the doors, just a little D-Link wireless transmission booster, and it connects to the Wi-Fi here, which allows me to connect to this here classic app, and I can go either man cave, which I'll go back to, and the turbine is locked out, and we'll go back to house here. Now because I'm in the man cave and I'm full charged, I'm running the heat pump now to dissipate some of the power, but it's pointless to run this turbine now because it's hitting 1,000 watts out there at some gusts, and we don't really unnecessarily want to run it in these high winds if we don't have to, because once again I'm full charged and it'll just go into dump load. So we'll go back to the house and we're on it, and we're sitting at nothing. So the turbine is winding down. We can see it through the window. We got some real good winds coming at us today, so that's just a makeshift stand made out of 2x4s and a signpost braced down to the walls of the bike barn. And I've had no problem. It's around 25 feet high. The one on the man cave is around 23 feet. We don't want to fly them too high because Fiona come through here last year and it'll just destroy anything in its path. So I realized that if you had them higher, you get a lot more production out of them, but you also run the risk of them getting destroyed or tearing themselves apart up there in some of this higher winds that we get in Nova Scotia. Now, I live on the water, and most of the winds here favorable to me are north and south. The north and south, because those winds are favorable, I got an east and west mountain around me, and they simply go overhead, but I do get some of it, but today's the wind is coming from the south. So that is a favorable wind, and we also have a wind warning in effect, and as I said before, I've seen this hit 1,700 watts. And that was this morning. You pair match this i2000, 48 volt with a classic 250, you got a pretty good setup. There's a little gust coming along, 550 watts. $897 watts, 17 amps. So this is the Ista Breeze i2000, 48 volt with the Midnight Classic 250. That's all I got.